Never shy away from starting small. Starting small, in fact, if you've got a vision, you've got a dream, you've got the discipline to know that you may just go a couple of months without a salary. I've done that. I've gone months without taking a salary for myself.
But how do you survive? That's one thing that I'm interested on. Now you don't get salary, or the salary that you're getting, you are funding something else.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's tricky. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say entrepreneurship is easy and it's flamboyant is nice. It's not nice. Entrepreneurship is not nice. It's not nice.
ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again of hearing us with TK. Of course, I'm a boy TK. Insizwa yarankosi buya phansi eMpumalanga endaweni yaseDantonald. Vandag we have a slightly different episode. It's the business episode. Of course, I'm with my guest here. Igama lakhe uLindo Mnisi, all the way from eDantonald. Welcome to our show.
Let's go. Thank you very much for having me. Really excited about
You are
this
welcome, man. You are welcome. So, Lindo, I just want to say thank you so much for accepting our invitation. You know, I've been wanted to interview you. You know, for it's been a long time since ngifuna interview ngiyabonga for accept our invitation yethu to your shop. Yeah. So basically, I want you to start by introducing yourself to the audience emakhaya ukuthi uLindo umuntu onjani.
Should I speak to them? Should I speak to you?
You can speak to them. You can
no, absolutely. Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Lindo Mnisi. I also come all the way from Mpumalanga, all the way from eDantonald, born and raised there. Come to Gauteng for the first time in 2010. Looking for opportunities. I started looking into opportunities within the media space, started looking into opportunities within, just growing within the media space, TV, radio, and all of those type of things. But obviously at the time, they didn't have any qualification to back that up. So it was just a hustle. Ibuyele Makaya and coming to Gauteng to hustle and push, went to SAPC, tried to knock on certain doors there until I realized, actually, let me go. I need to now go back and get a little bit of education so that it can back me up in my journey. But as I studied journalism and then worked as a journalist, and then the entrepreneurial bug then bit me because I then realized that I think what I'm more comfortable in is more entrepreneurial, changing lives, and just empowering and empowering people. And I figured that business was something that was going to help me to be able to do that.
I want us to take it. I want us to take it slow. Ne?
All right.
Starting from where you're coming from.
Yeah.
From eDantonald. Ne?
Yeah.
I just want us to have a background.
All right.
Of how did you, move from Dantonald into Gauteng, and then from there we take it step by step.
No, perfect. I'm glad we've got time.
Yeah, we've got time.
I'm glad we've got time. Yeah. So, grew up in Dantonald. Studied there from my primary school, Esimunye Primary School at Dantonald A1, and then went on Eguphakameni, combined school to do my, grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9, and then went to high school, Elikuku High School, to do my, senior phase, grade 10, 11, and 12. Yeah. So finished my grade 12 in 2009. I'm giving out my age there a little bit. But I completed my grade 12 in 2009. Life living there, tough times, man. It's the villages, more rural area, no opportunities whatsoever, no jobs, no factories, no anything, anything for anyone to do. The youth there to this day is still struggling. They all have to move out in order to get opportunities. So I was faced with a similar situation of having to decide whether to stay there, live on the being at shops and sitting there around the corner every time. I need to move out of the location to go look for opportunities. I remember I went in 2010 and looked for a space at college in KwaZulu-Natal, and I couldn't get space, and then I had to go back home. Within 2 weeks I had to go back home. January, within 2 weeks I went back home, and remember I used to lock myself in the house because I didn't want to. I'm not the type of person that is out there, friends here and there. So I was always indoors. Just living my life alone, writing, and that's when actually writing started. I was writing because a book that I will later talk about, that I later published, I started writing the book when I was still there. At home. Bored all the time.
Was it 2010?
2009. So 2010, 2009, around there. But 2010 was the time when I was writing mostly to choir. I was writing actually going to choir. Writing, just all the experiences and the stories that I was, experiencing growing up. And then I remember someone, I think it should have been my mom, was like, but you need to do something. You can't be always in the house. You need to socialize. You need to, Then I went to my school now, to my principal. I said, hey, I'm here. I'm not doing anything. I see you don't have a teacher.
Is there anything that you can
Is there something that I can do? But also because I'm always strategic in my approaches. I don't just go and say, hey, anything that you can give me. I went there, I said, I know you don't have a teacher for biology. And I was quite good with biology. I was quite good with, agricultural science. So I'm coming back. I want to teach the grade 12s life sciences and agricultural science because you don't have a teacher for that. It's like, come through. Just do, because you're not qualified to do that. But if you do it as an extra classes, you just come when on knock-off time of schools, you then begin. And then I was teaching grade 12s, I think from January, grade 12s, life sciences and agricultural science, and then February, March, April. Around April, I decided, you know what, I need to leave this place. I need to go to Gauteng because that's the space of opportunities. So that's how I then left the villages to come into Gauteng to start pursuing what I believed was something that I wanted to pursue.
Well, that's interesting.
Which was a hassle at the time because no university or college would have accepted me at that time. It was already late. So I only were able to
enroll the following year. Okay. So when you enroll at tertiary, which institution were you at?
I went to the People's University. The
Which one is
the Tshwane University of Technology, TUT.
You enroll for which course?
I then enrolled for journalism, and specifically there was no mix up on that. I knew I needed to study journalism because growing up I knew that I wanted to be in the media space. I wanted to be but then I enrolled for journalism right away, and I was accepted, and I started studying in 2011.
And then you completed journalism, and then
journalism in 2013, so that would be the 3 years diploma in 2013, and then I got a job at TUT to start working as a student assistant. I was teaching the first years and second years radio studies. So the institution realized that I was actually good with broadcast, so as soon as I completed my diploma, they actually hired me to start working in the journalism department. Teaching broadcast students, so teaching radio to
at TUT.
At TUT, I was a student assistant assisting the lecturer that was teaching radio. I think also what was helpful for me is that 3 years after starting my journalism course, first year, 3 months after starting my journalism course, I then started working on the campus radio station, which was the community radio station, TUT FM. Worked there, started off as a producer, a journalist, going out to get stories. 3 months into the course, and then 6 months into the course, I think I already had my own radio show, already had my own talk show. By the time I completed my qualification 3 years later, I already had my own radio show, a talk show. So I speak quite a bit.
That is interesting. That is one of the interesting stories that I've ever heard. So, and then after you completed your your studies at TUT.
Yeah.
Ne? And then now you're supposed to move into the real world.
To the real world, yeah.
Right. So you still carry on, or you got a job as a journalist, or you.
So
you were struggling?
first job obviously was to get the first job was the TUT job,
Okay.
which I then worked. I did that for 6 months. 6 months from there. That was 2013. Is it 20? Yeah, 2013. Because with TUT you study the first year. It's compulsory. You need to be in campus. Second year compulsory at campus, and then third year you need to go and do in-service training.
Yeah, practicals
For you to qualify to complete basically your qualification.
Yeah.
And then it was then that I was doing. I then applied for the job that they hired me for at TUT, teaching the first years and second years radio studies.
Okay.
And then
that was your practical.
That was my practical.
Yeah.
And then 6 months into that practical, I was like, you know what? ANN7, there was a new channel that was starting at the time called ANN7.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? Because my vision and my goals are more countrywide than being
in
academic.
An institution.
In an academic institution. So I want to be more out there. So I applied. I actually didn't apply because I told you my way of approaching things is always different. What I did there was I knew there's a TV channel that's coming. Everyone is sending a CV there. If I send my CV, no one is gonna
fall on the list.
I fall on the list of those people. What makes me stand up?
Yeah.
So I actually drafted a TV proposal of a TV show that they could have when they launch. Those guys, the CEO of the channel called me and said, no, come here. Let's have a discussion about this proposal that you have for this new show. Went there into the meeting with the CEO, had the discussion. I'm like, here's the show that I'm proposing. They look at me. At the time, I was like 20-something, 22, 23. So I was like, you're probably not ready to be the one that presents the show. So they got a celebrity to do the show. And then they took me in as one of the journalists. They said, you get the job, you go be a journalist and do what you say you want to do. Because I said, I want to be a journalist. I have the idea for the show. I can help out with it, but I want to be a journalist because that's what I'm studying. So they said, here's your job as a journalist. The show, we are giving it to this guy to then present it. And the show was actually on TV. It was running. And I was also always on TV, just reporting on stories. So that's how I then left TUT, the institution when I was helping as a student assistant, and then I went into the real world of journalism. Working as a journalist for ANN7. I think because that was around.
You said you work for
ANN7.
ANN7, okay.
It was the channel that was owned by the Guptas, yeah.
I remember that channel. I remember that channel. Yeah, I once saw you in as a reporter.
Yeah, I was reporting.
In that channel.
Yeah.
So
always on TV.
Why you left I think that's probably a pretty good job. Everyone can take that job.
It's a beautiful job, being on TV every day. I was reporting on stories that I wanted to report on, always the ones that touch people's lives. I mean, in journalism, there's a number of, categories you can choose from. You can choose, general news, which covers, all stories like around the townships, things that affect people's lives. You can then report on politics. You can be a political reporter. You can be a health reporter, education reporter. There are bits and bits of the journalism space. And I always wanted the part that touches on people's lives. So I remember, I think 6 months into my career at ANN7, I got a call from ENCA. ENCA, from a very lovely lady. May her soul rest in peace. She has since passed. She called me. She says, I've been seeing the work that you've been doing, and I got hold of your details. Can you please come through for an interview?
Okay.
And I went. I think the interview happened on the phone, if I'm not mistaken. Everything happened, because they called me and said, "Can you come through?" I was like, "Yeah." Said, we agreed basically everything on the phone, and then that's when I joined ENCA ETV the following year, which was 2014. In the early in the year, I then joined ETV, and I worked with ETV from 2014 until 2015 December.
And then you stopped.
Which is when I was like, something else is calling me.
Okay, of which is something that I really want us to talk about it. Right now, you're not working as a journalist, right?
No.
So you are not an employee.
No, I'm not an employee. Well, I am an employee of It's wonderful. I am an employee, but right
Okay,
here.
so that time where you stopped working and then something was calling you, you decided to
Go
move
into
from
entrepreneurship,
into
full-time entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I just want us to talk about that
Yeah.
more, because I think that is the foundation of why we actually having this podcast
Right.
show about entrepreneurship. But before we start and diving deep into entrepreneurship, there is something that I want you to tell us, that what kind of businesses are you running?
Right. So basically, it all depends. It goes with the
I'm sorry for that. Ne?
the type of. Right.
I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry,
Let's
guys.
put it.
Yeah, you can carry on. You can carry
Right.
on.
Right. So the type of businesses that it all depends on perhaps to better answer the question, I want to go into a transition with you on how did we get here.
Yeah,
Than the
from being an employee
from
into being an
that,
entrepreneur.
yes.
Yeah.
So from being an employee to entrepreneurship, and how that transaction actually happened. Yeah, I think that will be more important. So I'm a journalist. As a journalist, I've already written a book, because I wrote a book called, and I've just mentioned that we wrote the book from way back when I was still, completing.
At high school,
my high school,
studies,
just after completing high school, and then I come to Joburg. I continue with the book a little, because I had to also transfer it from the actual handwriting to now a digital, so that it can be published, because nobody publishes a handwritten book. So that I then, as a journalist, I've already written a book called The Victim of Circumstances, Life of a Village Boy, just telling people stories about the type of life that people in the villages are actually going through. Also talking about exactly the question you're asking about, the transition from that place of poverty, a place of no opportunities, a place of just, dire disadvantages of people that have to go through, compared to what other people in townships or in other developed places would encounter. So that transition is also there in my book. It's very helpful for people to know how people transition to create more opportunities for themselves. So now, as an employee at ETV, all nice opportunities exist. Everything is going well. But I decide, what? I need to go into full-time entrepreneurship, because I think that's where my calling is right now. I need to change people's lives. I need to create jobs. I need to do something that has direct impact in people's lives, and also for my own family's lives. So I left journalism to go and start a totally different venture in compared to what I knew. I went into manufacturing of graduation attires and traditional attires, basically. So we opened a factory in Galfontein, Midrand, and we were manufacturing graduation attires. And how that started, we started while I was working at ENCA. I was working as an agent for a company that was manufacturing the graduation attire.
So meaning you were working professional.
I was working
and
full time, and then had a side hustle.
Exactly.
Of me being a salesperson. So I was using my numbers and my ability to advertise and market products using my social media platforms and the numbers that I had on social media, and I was marketing graduation attires. But what I was doing was to market them under my own company, as if we already existed. We had Ipopo clothing manufacturers, and we were just selling, reselling.
I saw that company.
So we were reselling at the time, but we were not manufacturing. So we accumulated money from the selling of the graduation attires as salespeople, as a salesperson, and then I used the money to say, what? Now we are sitting here, we're looking at the money that we've accumulated from the commission. Like, what do we do with this money? Because I'm not a flamboyant person, now go enjoy extravagant. It's like, here's the money that I have. Let me go get my own sewing machines. Let me go get an operating space. Let me go get my team to now manufacture. And that's what we did. We got our own team, manufactured the product, and we started now selling products that we were manufacturing. So we ran that manufactured the products, and that's how I then got into permanent and full-time entrepreneurship. Work on that. At our peak, we had like 10 employees that were working in our factory, and that's permanent staff working in our factory, and probably another 10 in different institutions, because we had an agent in UJ, vets, probably 2 in at UJ, because UJ is quite huge as well. All the TUT campuses, we had an agent there. We had agents even in DUT, because our product, what we were doing is that we went and bought every single attire that of the graduations of the faculties, so that we can come and remake them. So we got the right colors, the right fabric, the right material, the right quality of the product, and we just ran with that. And I remember when we spoke to TUT at some point to say, guys, you always have this one supplier that every time when it's graduation times, there's this one supplier, and it's all white dominated. They've been doing this thing for 50 years. They've been supplying you guys for 50 years. Here's our product, here's our quality, here's where we operate from. What do you think of our product and our quality? Like, wow, great. Come through. Supply us as well. We said, but we can't supply from the boot of our car. You give these guys, every time they go, graduation time, they've got a room where they sell these products from, or exchange from for rentals. We also need a room. So we were still in the process of getting our own room in institutions, so that during graduations
you can provide,
do the transactions. Okay. So we ran that 2015, 2016, 2017. The business suffered a huge knock. Boom. Because challenges are always there.
So, okay, Lindo, I want you to tell me when the business stopped, and then the business started to struggle. Yeah. So, your work as a journalist.
No, remember, I had already left. So I had already left in 2015 as a journalist. 2015, I already left. I'm now full-time entrepreneurship, all the way to 2017.
So, okay, Lindo, I want us to speak about the business, the current business that you have, the current businesses that you are currently running, and I want us to dwell more on those businesses, on how they actually came into manifestation, how they came into reality,
how it all happened.
How it all happened.
So everything for me is always a transition. Nothing just pops up out of nowhere, and that's why we get a question all the time from people saying, Lindo, which one are you doing? I remember you were a journalist, I remember you were in PR and communications, and now hardware. Where does it link? Real estate, property, where does it link? And it always links. For me, it always links. It's a transition. Everything is just moving so in unison with the plan that I have. So right now we're running a company called Andura Hardware.
The one that we are
shooting from today. So it's very important that we shoot from this one, because people need to understand that in the near future, this is a brand that people are going to associate with, that they're going to be proud of. A brand, a black-owned, black-run, youth-owned, that is going to actually be one of the commendable brands in the hardware space that people are going to look at and say, nice. Produced by South Africa.
Is it an okay, sorry, what is it? An Andura Hardware? It's a business and a brand at the same time.
Andura Hardware is a retailer of hardware items, DIY tools, and building essentials. It's basically a hardware store. So we're rolling out hardware stores in different townships. We have 3 branches right now. We've got a branch in Kalfontein, we've got a branch in Ebony Park, we've got a branch in Diepsloot.
When it started, when the business started, 3 branches already.
At the peak of the pandemic in 2020, that's when Andura Hardware was born. At the peak of the pandemic, we started it with empty shelves. We started it ourselves being me and my colleagues, the guys that work at the hardware. We're like, this is something that is needed within the township. We've got the energy, we've got the enthusiasm, we've got the agility to get it done. So in fact, our vision and our vision we work with, agility. We work with unconventional methods. We do things differently compared to how other township businesses are operated. We work with, enthusiasm. We're very young. We're very, enthusiastic in how we approach the space, and we're very versatile. We're not looking into having Andura as just a hardware business, but we're looking into making it a group of really, really succeeding and successful township businesses. And the hardware space is something that we're really, really pushing forward at the moment. And as I've mentioned, we've got 3 branches at the moment. So October 2020, not just 2020, because when we say 2020, you may think in January. October 2020, we started our first branch. And then
of which it was this one.
Which was this one. So 2020, October, we start this one. Within 6 or 7 months, we started our second branch. And then in a year, we started another branch in Diepsloot. So we've got 3. And in the coming years, we will be rolling out more and more of Andura hardware in different townships. Our focus is in the townships. So we're looking into enrolling Andura hardwares in different townships, and people should be looking out for an Andura hardware store near them in the near future.
Oh man, this is beautiful, man.
And that is one of the businesses.
I've checked your shop, man. It's full. Nice, it's full. And when I got here, I was like, I'm looking for the boss here. That's like the boss is Lindo. I was like, this is inspirational.
Of course,
guys.
yeah. So we're very intentional and very strategic in how we want to roll them out. And our processes and systems is something that we pride ourselves with. We ensure that when you walk into any other township hardware store, and you enter into ours, there's a huge difference there, because we've got processes, we've got systems, we've got an international outlook, we've got a bigger vision than what you see on the ground. So you look into our online store, because we've got an e-commerce website as well, and we get a lot of people that are already buying from that from the website itself. Proud of myself, I got a customer, a client that bought from Tonton, where I grew up and I was born. They went to our website and bought a product, and it was delivered to them at within 3 days. They had already received.
So if people they want to buy online, what procedure do
you just go to www.andura.co.za and you look for the products that you need, and you place your order and you pay directly through the website, and we get your details and we send the product to you. We've got partners, we've got courier partners that we work with, we've got suppliers that are able to supply us. Like, we're a proper running business, but we operate within the township space, and that's very intentional for us. So that's Andura Hardware in a nutshell. Our mission is to build communities, create jobs, change lives, and inspire. And I think for us, the building of communities is to ensure that we bring the hardware stores closer to the people where they live, because they've got bike rooms that they are building, they've got extensions of their houses that they are doing. So they are building their own homes, and ours is to ensure that we assist in that building of communities. Anyone that aims to build the township and to build the community of South Africa, we will always be there to assist them in doing that. Creating jobs, we're already doing that with the rolling out of the different hardware stores. We're creating jobs, and directly that's us creating the jobs, but indirectly, by us being closer to the people, where artisans, where plumbers, your bricklayers, they are able to get jobs created because we exist. By us existing within the township spaces, jobs are being created.
Jobs,
So directly we create the jobs, indirectly jobs get created by us existing. Changing lives, that's very important. What we do, we look into also initiatives that are active, that are changing people's lives, and we partner with those ones, whether it's be us donating products, whether it be us, making sure that we just assist in any way that ensures that people's lives are being changed. We partake in the changing lives of the people that work within our business. It's very important. It's part of changing lives, because we are creating jobs, which in turn puts food on the table, and that changed somebody else's life. And inspiration, I think, I stand for inspiration. We're going to build this brand from the ground up, with from empty shelves to what we now see. It is inspiring to other people walking on the street.
Man.
People who bought from us when in 2020 when we were
starting.
empty shelves. It's inspiring to them to say, black people can actually do this in a space that is dominated by your Indian guys, your white people, and then you get a young black guy in the township that doesn't say, no, I'm gonna go into here in the township. We're doing it here, and that is inspiring. So that is building communities, creating jobs, changing lives, and inspiring people.
So I think, Lindo, your story is so inspirational. So in South Africa, we need more Lindo. We need more people that think like you, people that's gonna act like you. So if there is anyone that is watching the show right now that says, you know what, one day I want to have a dream. I want to have a shop, hardware, whether it's a hardware, whether it's a shop, a grocery shop, or a supermarket. Yeah. And then the person right now is working, is doing a 9 to 5. Yeah. We have work saying yeah. But now the challenge is that the person the monies get consumed by the responsibilities. Yeah. But what you call that, black tax, black tax and all. Yeah. He end up not having enough money for savings so that he can start up, because to start an organization that is big as this one, obviously there must be some discipline, and you have to have good savings so that you can buy the things that are needed. So I want you to usher us or unpack that thing to us, how the person can maneuver in order to end up being like you.
That's a beautiful question. That's a brilliant one. And I think it's one of the very most important questions that entrepreneurs need to answer, so that the people on the ground, the people that look up to the entrepreneur,
they can have a picture.
Have a picture of how things roll out. Yeah. I spoke to you about empty shelves. And I'm not saying that from the position of saying, look at me just to try and make the story look good. We started with empty shelves. I can even send you pictures so that as my voice narrates the story, you can roll out the pictures of how, when we started, how things were looking. Empty shelves. All we had was a vision and a dream to build this brand, and that's all we had. The savings, we didn't have that. We didn't have a backup of some funds, some rich uncle, some rich mother or father who can say, oh yeah, here, go and start. We started with empty shelves.
No cash injection, nothing.
Nothing. We actually started with display products. We had display products. We went and bought displays.
And then people, they order, and then that's where
we sell the few that is here. We sell the few. We frequent the suppliers. We always go to the supplier to get the product in, because they come, they buy. We've got 3 of these items. We sell the 3 so that we can make a little bit of margin and profit. Go get more. Go get more. Go get more. And that's how the stock grew. Go get more, go get more, go get more. And that's the same. Even to this day, we're still not as big as we should be. We're still not as big as we are going to be, but we are moving. We are moving forward. We reinvest into the business. So there's no savings, there's no money coming in from wherever. It's the money that comes from our customers. Our biggest funders, our biggest investors are the customers that walk into our stores. Those are the people that fund us and say, here are funds. Yes, I need this product, and we've added our markup there. That markup is what's going to cover our salaries. That's what's going to cover our operating expenses. That's what's going to cover our rent and all other expenses that we get on a monthly basis as a business. So for the person that has a dream, they have a 9 to 5 that they are working on. Never shy away from starting small. Never shy away from starting small. Starting small, in fact, if you've got a vision, you've got a dream, you've got the discipline to know that you may just go a couple of months without a salary. I've done that. I've gone months without taking a salary for myself.
But how do you survive? That's one thing that I'm interested on. Now you don't get salary, or the salary that you're getting, you're funding something else. Yeah. Right. So
it's tricky. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say entrepreneurship is easy and it's flamboyant, is nice. It's not nice. Entrepreneurship is not nice. it's not nice. There are many sacrifices that you need to do. There are many borrowing of money from this one, borrowing of money from this one, and some are adding more interest on it, and you need to repay it back. Discipline then helps you to say, you borrowed me 5,000, I'm gonna pay it back. I know you say you want it now as 7,000. Can you give me a little bit more time? You get yourself into those type of situations where your discipline is what then builds up your ability to run the business. And for me personally, those are the type of things that were helpful to say, I've got other, my luck was I've got other businesses that were already running. Remember, I didn't even tell the story on how the actual hardware business came about. It came about when I was building rental units for my other business, which is After 12 Properties. At After 12 Properties, we've got a number of rental units. What we do there is to provide rental accommodation for low-income earners in the townships. So we do back rooms, we do cottages, we do apartments. So you can get a room from as little as 8,000. I think 800. Sorry, one of our rental units is renting for 800. We've got rooms for 1,000, rooms for 1.2, apartments for 3,000, 3.6, 4.5. Our highest right now, also within the township, is 4,200. That's our an apartment that we're renting out. So when I was busy building those rental units, which also I did most of them from my pocket, because I'm not also a type of person that keeps on knocking on doors. Give me money, borrow me money, the banks and whatnot. I don't normally do that. So I mostly do things from the hustle. You build 2 rooms now, you take the profit, you build another room, take the profit, build another room. That's how you grow. Right now we've got close to 15 rental units that we have. So when I was building the last 5, on that 5, actually not the last, it was the last probably in 2020 or so, I then decided, as soon as I'm done with these 5 rental units, when that is running, I'm going to start taking the money to open a hardware store. Because I was struggling myself to get hardware stores close by. I was spending a lot of money going to fetch the product from the bigger hardware stores,
so that you
spend a lot of money transporting the things to my site. So I was like, we need to have hardware stores within the location. You don't have to take transport to go to a far area. Within the township, it must be here. So that people can just push a wheelbarrow, get a bag of cement. You don't have to go to the bigger hardware there
and spend money for transport.
You pay 90 rand for a bag of cement, and then you pay 200 rand to transport it. Take a wheelbarrow and just go get your cement. So that's the problem I was saying I'm going to solve as soon as I finish up on the rental unit. So that was helpful for me to say, we get the money from this one, we fund it on this one. Get the money, fund it on this one, and then this one is able to pay back. And that's how we were able to build the first branch and be able to continuously invest into it. So the person who's working, of course, they've got bills, they've got black tax, they've got all sorts of challenges that they are dealing with. But the sacrifice is going to be very important, and the discipline in that sacrifice to say, also, you're building a business. You are not being self-employed. See, like myself, I'm not self-employed.
You must also check that one. You can carry on, Lynn.
So I'm not self-employed. I'm not self-employed. I'm building a business. And that's why we are able to build multiple branches, and we are going to continue to do that, because we are not creating something where I'm just trying to find something from hand to mouth, to survive. I need to eat at the end of the day. For me, it's to build communities, create jobs, change lives, and inspire. And that is what drives me. So anything that helps me to be able to do that, that's what I'm doing. That's why we'll be rolling out this hardware stores.
But Lindo, is it easy? I read a book by the famous book, Robert Kiyosaki, but I think it was the second one, The Cash Flow Quadrant. I think he mentioned something that is very important there, about the shifting the quadrant. He said when you shift the quadrant, it's totally different compared to shifting a job to another job. Let's say you were employed.
Self-employed, employed, like employee.
Employed. An employee. Now you want to move into being self-employed. And then after being self-employed, you want to move into have a business, system. You have employees, you have that hierarchy structure of managers and supervisors.
And then invest.
and investors. He said shifting a quadrant
It's not
it's not like shifting a job.
No, it's
into a
not.
job. I just wanted to know what is in between.
Yeah.
Let's say now you stop working, you start to be self-employed. You're no longer receiving a paycheck at the end of the month. So you have to work in order to make money. If you're not working, you're not making money. If you are having a business, now you need to have managers.
Yeah.
You have supervisors.
Yeah.
And you have all those people. You have to manage that. Do we have to go to school in order to understand the
Yeah.
change of quadrant? Or it's something that can just happen if you have a drive?
Cheers. Yeah. That's a loaded question. That's a very good one. I think the shift for moving from employed to self-employed, it's within. It's within because and within, I mean, it's within a person. A person can decide to teach themselves certain things, and there are people who are just born for those type of things, and they just need to start activating and start moving. For me, the information is always key. Education and understanding of who you are and what you want to do is very important. So the transition from employee to self-employed, where there's no salary now. There's you now, and I think that one, it's not that difficult. Really? If I'm being honest. Because unless that's why in life you should never jump stages. They say if a baby doesn't jump stages, shouldn't jump stages. You start by moving on your palms. You start moving on your legs, on your crawling, and you start standing up.
You fall, and
all those type of things. You don't jump, because if you jump from employee to now being employer,
it's a problem.
You need to be self-employed for others. But also, I disagree on this self-employed thing, because self-employed, you can only grow so much. If you are the one getting the things done, the growth gets disturbed. Gets limited, because things move because you are moving them. If you move the needle, then it moves. If you are not there to move it, then it doesn't move. Then you've got a problem on your hands. The growth will then be problematic there. What's more important, what then you need to strive for, is to ensure that you build a system and a business that can run without your presence.
But can you build a system?
And to get to that, that's where your hence I'm saying it's a very loaded question, and for me, I think it just needs to be inhuman. Where you are able to sacrifice, you are able to get the right people on board, you are able to just share the vision with the people that you work with, so that it moves. But the responsibilities and the debts that you need to deal with, I've seen that. I've dealt with that. It's a problem. I've transitioned from an employee
into being a self-employed
to what I am now.
To be a business
In fact, I'm an investor now, because I invest. I don't work full-time into even this business. I'm not a full-time person that is here. You can come to the business and you won't find me. You won't find me. Days where I don't even show up. I mean, we've got a branch in Diepsloot. They don't see me for probably a week. But things are running and the system is moving. The vision is still there. They actually embody the vision because it's been communicated properly to them, and they know that they are part of the vision. It's a problem for people that are actual employees, that you don't even know what the vision of the company is. All that you're looking for is month end to get a salary.
And you're only focusing on what they told you to do.
You focus on what they told you to do.
You don't overview the structure of the company and how
there's no ownership. From your side, there's no ownership of the thing. With our team, they know that this is their business.
So to get into business, if you're employed, you have to start a business.
Start a business.
You cannot get into business by looking at the business that you are working in as an employee.
No. So that's why from a journalist, I'm a qualified journalist. I've worked as a journalist, but I'm not in that space, and I'm able to succeed in a space totally different from so it's not always going with what you studied and what you know. It's going with what needs to be done.
That is a
getting
big one.
getting what needs to be done.
Yeah.
What is it, and what problem are you solving? I told you that ours was to solve the problem of bringing the hardware stores closer to the people, where they can push a wheelbarrow and get the products that they need.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to spend, you go to buy a bag of cement for 90 rand, and then you need to pay 200 rand to get the bag of cement to your place. It's not helping. So we bring it to them. So what solution are you bringing? And also, can you bring the solution without overspending? Can you save money in the process?
Because the whole point of starting a business is to solve a problem.
It's to solve a problem. The profitability of it is for the business to grow and to scale and to do all those. But the problem solving is what a business should be doing.
Okay, so you've been running it for Andura Hardware. It's been running for
Just over 2 years.
Over 2 years now. So what are the main challenges that you normally face in this business? Like the most critical one that somebody who is watching this and somebody that has that want to start a business like this can actually watch out for those challenges.
The first challenge is this. But that's the first challenge. But the second one, and I'll speak on more of them. The cash flow.
Okay, let me just disturb you about that. So when you say the first challenge is this, you mean in terms of funding, in terms of
it actually builds into then the challenges that I will then outline. Cash flow is a problem.
Yeah.
Remember, we don't have rich uncles, rich parents giving us all this. We started with empty shelves. So cash flow then becomes a problem because every single thing that we operate with is something we get from our customers that come in. Now, you don't have the experience, the years of experience in the industry. The suppliers are not able to give you a credit line. You have to buy on COD. So you can only stock with the funds that you have. If you don't have the funds, that means you can't stock. But all bigger businesses, other bigger retail stores, they can just call on a supplier and say, hey, bring this number of items and we'll pay you month end. It's difficult for you to just say, because you don't have the track record, you don't have, the connects, you don't have, so you struggle to do bigger projects. So it's hard for you to get bigger projects, bigger supplies, where you can supply bigger things, because, and you don't have the funds to stock more. So cash flow, very problematic. We survive. We're doing our best because we're very aggressive and we're very agile and we're pushing to get things done. So cash flow is a problem. Suppliers, we've got suppliers. Obviously, we're still on COD on most of them. It's only now, as a person of this color, you need to build the trust over time. It takes time to build the trust before a supplier, which the whole ecosystem, the whole value chain is still owned by our counterparts. So it's difficult for you, and worse when you're operating in the township space. The trust diminishes even more. So the trust from our supplier side, the trust from our customer side, to say if you operate in the township space, definitely you are mediocre. Definitely your products are not of good quality. So your thing there in the township, that thing that you guys do, this township economy thing, no man, we'd rather go and we are trying to bridge that gap to say, guys, try us, at least try us.
Yeah, we are close by.
But then it takes time to build that
trust.
It takes time to build that. So we are still in the process of building the trust, building the worthiness for people to look at us and say, actually, these guys are worthy of the thing. So that's why we deliver with speed. We supply the products. We ensure that customers come and they find what they're looking for. Even though we're still, doing it at a small scale, we're looking into a bigger scale, and we will get there. We will get there because we're not giving up any minute now, and we will be rolling out hardware stores in different townships, and we will be bringing solutions and convenience in people in townships.
Interesting story.
And making sure that we remove the stigma of township businesses being mediocre, township businesses being, not selling of good quality and whatnot and whatnot, and us not being trusted enough to be able to deliver this thing. So it's a long journey that we are on, and it's a long road to the freedom that we aspire.
That is so interesting. And I think we have to come back again when you have more branches. So are we getting a branch in Tantonal?
I have received inquiries. So obviously our focus is always on townships and remote areas. We want to ensure that people are able to find the products close by where they need them. Tantonal specifically, we've got some challenges there with our chief and our leaders not allowing investment. Basically, we still have a challenge of getting a shopping complex, a challenge of getting a mall. There's still fights there. I remember just recently they were on strike. They blocked all the roads. They're fighting a good fight. I mean, our chief there is a young guy. When you are a young guy, you should be able to knock on doors and get investors and be able to give them terms that are favorable for them to come and invest in the community. We need factories there. We need things to be produced there. So you cannot then give terms that are not favorable, where you want to be paid a certain percentage, a bigger percentage that is ridiculous, and all those type of things. We need a leadership from the chief side and from the leadership in the political space within Tantonal to just change the way they view the future of Tantonal, where investors can be so happy to come through, because Tantonal has land. Tantonal has land, plenty of land that can be utilized to build factories, can be utilized to build, game reserves if you even wanted, to build malls, to build shopping complexes, to build all sorts of things that will create jobs, will ensure that things that are being used in all different provinces, they are manufactured in Tantonal, and then they are shipped to all other sides of the provinces. So there are different things that need the Tantonal leadership need to actually do to ensure that Tantonal becomes like a superpower, one of the best, because it's the centralness of Tantonal, guys. It's so beautiful. All other bed is good. Shabalala, Glenmore, everything. Feni is scaling up. Feni is scaling up, and it's we there's a lot that can be done. And I think since now where you are coming from Etonton, the leadership of Tantonal needs to call people like me and you to come sit in a boardroom, to have a board, a Tantonal board of directors or what, so we can bring all these ideas. How can these things be done? How can things be done? Bring the young guys. Stop this thing of every decision comes from the chief's office or from the political party. Bring the young people who have gone out there and experienced things. Bring us in. Let's sit down. Let's share ideas. Let's have, because we've got these ideas, and with this that you are running there, there's a nice thing that can be built out of Tantonal. And I believe that as we transition and as this conversation continue to be had, they are also able to listen in, and they say, okay, let's do it. Let's come up with this. So on the question, are we bringing Andura hardware to Tantonal? I'm looking forward to it.
To do that.
But a couple of things need to be
adjusted,
fixed. Because there's massive growth there, there's massive potential there, and would love to be part of the change that we want to see in Tantonal.
So we're about to wrap the show, Lindo. Before we wrap the show, is there anything that you want to, talk to the audience or advise them or, speak to them based on entrepreneurship and...
First and foremost, entrepreneurship is a journey. Entrepreneurship is a journey, and a journey that I believe is a solution for a number of problems that we have as a world, the entire world. Problems that we face are going to be fixed by entrepreneurship or an entrepreneurial mindset. So from our government side, it's the entrepreneurial mindset that needs to be installed for things to get done, for processes and system to for things to be accomplished, basically. So we need to then have these things at a very junior level, at a very young age. That means schools in Tantonal, schools in Tuzuma, Guamashu, schools in Kayelisha, schools in everywhere. Needs to everywhere. We need to start incorporating entrepreneurship as part of the learning curriculum. I know it's not as easy as that, and I know people have already said this, that entrepreneurship must be in schools and whatnot. It takes time, we understand, but we need an agile government or an agile leadership that will say this is important and this must be done, and be willing to fall on their sword if it doesn't work out. But I can assure you that entrepreneurship is the solution to most of the problems that we have. And to get it done, people need to know that starting small,
it makes a huge difference.
Should never be overlooked. Never overlook starting small. Starting small teaches you discipline. It teaches you the real hardship of entrepreneurship, where you don't start with R1 million. You're like, oh, here's R1 million, and then you start getting things done. You just start doing things, and you think you've learned anything on entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, you learn from the hardships. That's where your skin get thickened, from the hardships, and we've gone through that process. We're still in that process. I mean, we're working right now on more branches that we're rolling out in the coming year. In the coming year, we're looking at 10 stores. That means from the 3 that we have, we need to triple that. We're tripling the current footprint that we have. And I know I'm already feeling the pressure right now. Working on exactly that. I just came out of a meeting now before you came through. We were just cementing the coming year to say, what are we doing? How are we getting it done? So we're already working on the process of ensuring that next year we've got more branches. So entrepreneurship for the young people and basically anyone, because entrepreneurship, there's no age limit. There's no age to say, you can only be an entrepreneur at this age. No. For every single one. Don't shy away from starting small, and don't shy away from the humble beginnings. The humble beginnings are the ones that teaches you the discipline, the processes, the systems, to cement it in the early stages and take it forward. And you must always have a problem that you are solving. Must have a problem that you are solving, and exactly why are you solving that problem? For us, we just want to see people building communities, want to see people creating jobs, want to see people, changing lives and inspiring. Because for as long as you build something from nothing, you will always be inspiring. And that will ignite entrepreneurship in others. So for the entrepreneurs out there that are still starting small, don't despair, don't lose hope, don't lose, your fighting spirit. It's going to work out. You just need to keep on grinding and keep on working on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for rolling with us, for chilling with us, going us with TK. So we're going to bring more of programs like this on the show. So siyabonga kakhulu bafethu. Please don't forget to subscribe to our show. The show is called Ring Us with TK. You just subscribe, you share, you like. Siyabonga kakhulu bafethu. Thank you.